Oh Be a Fine Girl and Kiss Me. This phrase has helped several generations of astronomers to learn the spectral classification of stars. Ironically, this mnemonic device, still used today, refers to a scheme developed by a woman. Known as the census taker of the sky, Annie Jump Cannon was born on December 11, 1863 in Dover, Delaware. Inspired by her mother, Annie Jump Cannon pursued science from her very childhood. In 1884, Cannon graduated from Wellesley as the valedictorian of her class. While at Wellesley, she had the privilege to study physics and astronomy under a pioneer of this field, Sarah Frances Whiting. Annie was hired to work at the Harvard College Observatory under Edward Pickering in 1897. She became a part of the Computers, which was an all-female team of astronomy analysts who worked for Edward Pickering in early 90s. As a part of the team, Annie would analyze these photographic plates and spectra, and just from this data, she would actually classify stars based on Henry Draper catalog of astronomic spectrography. Annie was mainly analyzing the southern hemisphere stars. At that time, Draper technique was proven inadequate to order all the stars. Annie realized that the most logical way of classifying stars was to order them based on their blackbody radiation temperature. Stars with higher temperature emit light at shorter wavelength than the stars with lower temperature. That way, the hotter stars appear bluer and the cooler stars appear redder. Based on that, she developed a new system to classify stars mainly based on their stellar temperature, known as the Harvard Spectral Classification System, OBAFGKM, which is still used today by the astronomers. Later, those classes were divided into more sections. The outer layer of the stars being comparatively cooler than the core, they absorb blackbody radiation at particular wavelengths depending on their characteristics. Annie would look at the hydrogen absorption lines here. These lines are strongest in class A stars but relatively weaker in B and F class stars. So, how did they differentiate between a B and F star? Well, then she would look at these calcium lines that showed up only in F stars and not in B stars. So her scheme was mainly based on the strength of the Balmer absorption lines. Prior to receiving her master's degree from Wellesley College in 1907, Cannon had already published her first catalog of stars in 1901. Cannon also published catalog of variable stars, including 300 she discovered her own. She was known for her speed at classifying stars and was credited with classifying 5,000 stars per month from 1911 to 1915. She continued on to catalog about 350,000 stars over her lifetime. In 1921, she became the first woman to receive a Doctor of Astronomy degree from Groningen University, the first woman ever to receive an honorary degree from Oxford University, and in 1931, she became the first woman to be awarded the Henry Draper Medal of Honor from the National Academy of Sciences. A year later, the International Astronomical Union adopted Cannon's method as the official spectral classification system. She was the first woman elected as an officer of the American Astronomical Society. In addition to her scientific work, Cannon also worked for women's rights. Annie Jump Cannon faced many challenges in her career. Scarlet fever had permanently damaged her hearing when she was in college. The women working under the direction of Pickering were seriously underpaid. They earned as little as 25 to 50 cents an hour. After decades of hard work, Cannon was finally appointed a permanent faculty position at Harvard College Observatory in 1938. Cannon worked in the observatory all the way up until she died in April of 1941 in Cambridge, Massachusetts at her age of 77. Near the end of her life with World War II on the horizon, Annie summed up her worldview in one of her last interviews. In these days of great trouble and unrest, it is good to have something outside our own planet, something fine and distant and comforting to troubled minds. Let people look at the stars for comfort.